Welcome to the MACC Policy Board meeting. Today is July 22nd, and we are in the basement of Zealand here today. How about if we start with roll call? Larry, would you like to start on your side?
Look at the whole, like, township.
Blake Gray, MDOT Graduation Planning. Keith Walters, MDOT Statewide Planning, filling in for Heather Bowden.
Gretchen Cosby, Ottawa County.
Mandy Cooper, Lakeshore Advantage.
Skip Keeter, Park Township.
Jason Latham with the map.
Tom Bird at large.
John Elker, Fillmore Township Supervisor.
Terry Neenheis, Holland Township.
Kevin Kleinstra, City of Zealand.
Tom Monk, Zealand Township.
Eric Dexter at the MACC.
Alan Miller with the MACC.
Kelly Howard with the OBC Network.
And we want to welcome John today. He is the new representative for Fillmore Township, replacing Ken, who recently passed away. We're welcome to have him here today. And if someone would like to make a motion about the approval of the minutes, we would welcome that.
So moved.
Any comments on the minutes? If not, all in favor of approval, respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. And any public comments today? Nobody from the public here, so we'll turn the meeting over to Jason.
All right, thanks everybody for being here. Happy Monday to you. Let's start off on the transportation side. Alec, do you want to jump in with the tip discussion?
Well, the first thing I want to say is Mayor Box is lucky that he's not here because, as you all know, I'm a New Holland resident. So excited to live there, and I got my bike stolen over the weekend. So,
Right off the porch.
right off the porch, cable cutters, everything, less than a year old. So if anybody sees, if I see any of you on a red Specialized, that one's mine. And all I'm going to say is that didn't happen when I lived in Port Sheldon Township. So, just, I think that's the reason why Mayor Box isn't here for that. So, yeah. So anyway, back to the meeting. This is the fiscal year 2026-2029 TIP MACC project nomination form. So we're about to start the beginning of the TIP process. We are really excited for this because this is the last thing we haven't done in our MPO cycle. So when Jason and I came in, all of this had already been done, and then we came in January and took it over, and it was halfway done. So we're excited to be able to do it and really make it our own. For those who are unfamiliar, the TIP is our Transportation Improvement Plan. From our website, the quote is, "The TIP is a financially constrained 4-year program covering the most immediate implementation priorities for transportation projects and strategies for the long-range transportation plan." So basically, everybody just sends us all their jobs, we okay it, put it in the TIP, and then it's live and it's good to go. So we need to put jobs in the TIP, so we need to filter a way for which ones to put in, and that's where the project nomination form comes in. All members take the form, and they fill it out with all the jobs that they would like to be included. These jobs must have realistic funding. These are not illustrative jobs. 2 weeks ago at the TAC meeting, I shared the nomination form, which should be in your TAC packet. If anybody wants it, I can also send it to you online. And no changes were made. But please let me know if you think there are any additions, deletions, or other modifications that should be made. The timeline for this is to have the form live at the October 12th TAC meeting. Then the forms will need to be submitted to me by the October TAC meeting, and then we will vote on the projects to include in the TIP at the November TAC. The projects that don't get selected will be added to the TIP illustrative list. So there's a lot of information there. Really, just to slow it down, the form is just, you can kind of see it there. Agency name, project, where your funding is going to come from, and then the second page of it, somewhere in the document, asks a bunch of stuff. Is it helping is it helping with non-motorized gaps? Is it going to help with this or that? Is it going to make this or that better? So the agencies, they kind of have to sell their projects, which is, I think, cool that we all get to work together on that. And this is mainly TAC focused. I'm sure some of you will be pretty involved in this. Others, not so much maybe. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. There's no motion needed for this. I just wanted to let you guys know about the form. And again, if you think anything should be changed, you can email me or let me know whenever. So, Jason, you have anything to add to this?
So I would say the good discussion that we had at TAC is that the project list that each agency comes up with will go to their board for approval before it comes to us or as part of the selection process. So we did go through the process 3 years ago. We have resolutions, and we wanted to keep that going. It's not a requirement,
Oh,
but...
you're stealing my thunder. That's my next slide.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Go.
So, next slide is the member resolution discussions. When we were looking back at the previous tip cycle and how we should get started on this, we found that all of our members had formal resolutions committing to the jobs and funding that were selected to be in the tip. We thought this was nice, but it was unique because they're not federally, you guys aren't federally required to do this. So at the TAC meeting, we had a discussion, hey, is this something we want to keep doing? And overwhelmingly, everyone agreed that this is a good thing to do just for formal record keeping. So these resolutions, it's difficult to read, but these are examples of Ottawa County and Allegan counties from last year. It just shows, these are the 4 projects that are going into the tip, and they just say it was moved by the commissioners to say that they have the funding to do this. So just to make sure that everybody can do this, we're all on the same page. Even though it's not required, we agreed to keep doing it. So if anybody has any objections to this or anything, let me know for that. And now back to you. Now you can.
So that was a nice discussion. I guess that's it. It's a good process. We do have open discussions. We want to make sure that we have good projects coming forward and that the road agencies and the townships as well as the cities, we're all working together to make sure that the projects that we select meet what we're trying to do, what we talked about in our long-range plan, but certainly get looked at all together, and we decide that these are the priorities in terms of the funding that we get. These are the projects that go first. And any project that doesn't get selected but is recommended, we plan on putting that on the illustrative list so we can then pull it in quickly if we do get more money down the road. So that's a good process because pulling projects into the tip, if they haven't gone through any public process, it's kind of difficult. And this is going through a public process. So we like to have as many projects out there that we can get comments from the public and certainly comments from members before we make selection.
Any comments, questions on that? All right. Next one, going to Eric.
Yeah, next up, Safe Streets for All.
Next up. So as many of you are aware, we received a Safe Streets for All planning grant. Gosh, it's been back in October, was it? So we're finally getting things rolling. We were waiting on the federal government for months and months and months to get some things. That should take a day. But anyway, we're all set up now. So we had a kickoff meeting with AECom. Pam Blazo is the representative over there. So we had that on June 26th at the MACC office. And she's anticipating the conclusion of the safety action plan by the end of April of next year. So that's going to leave 2 calendar years of applying for implementation grants. So if there's any questions on that, that's kind of where we're at. And they should get rolling here pretty soon. So.
And I can jump in real quick by saying that our first quarterly report was submitted to the feds last week, and it was accepted, and they were happy that we were able to get it to them. The nice thing is we're direct recipients of federal aid, which is kind of unheard of, but this transportation bill actually has that as part of it, which is, I've never dealt with that before, but Grand Valley Metro Council also has a Safe Streets for All grant. And our accountant, Chris, is working with them, and he knows the process. We have a process set up, so we're going to kind of ride their coattails in terms of how to develop our Delphi. That's their financial.
Yeah, that's the payment system.
That's their payment
We
system.
waited
So,
a long time.
first quarterly report's in. Federal Highway's happy. The report said, we haven't done anything yet. But at least you have to fill out a certain way, certain boxes have to be checked. And we did that, and we got the green light that we know what we're doing. So that's nice. But we're really looking forward to working with the team. We had a good discussion with the TAC members as well, that this is coming. I did have a nice discussion with the exec committee as well, because I really do feel like this is an opportunity to have a transformational set of projects that are illustrative. These don't have to be fiscally constrained, but what do we want our transportation system to look like to improve safety? And I really do feel like the sky's the limit. Let's get some really good projects out there. Let's get really good feedback from the public, and then let's do some analysis to make sure that these projects actually do improve safety. And then once that list is done and we have that set and we've adopted that, then as Eric said, we should have 2 years to go after grant funding to support construction of some of those projects.
And we, again, chose AECom with our technical advisory committee members, in particular the road owning agencies. And they have a relationship with AECom and a few other companies, but they really had the experience cumulatively and per capita. So their team is really good. We were impressed with them. So, any questions on Safe Streets for All? Okay. So next up, we are also working on the non-motorized document. This is an update from 2014, so it hasn't been done in a while. So far we've met 3 times with a non-motorized steering committee, so that's going to be some representatives from local government, as well as bicycle, pedestrian, disability advocacy groups. So we usually have attendance of 10 to 15 people in those meetings. They're held at the MACC. So we are actually going to do a brand new document. We are definitely looking to make it more usable and shorter, with a lot more graphics and maps. So we're really shooting for the end of this year or early 2025, if it gets pushed a little bit. But we want to make sure it's complete, comprehensive, very safety oriented. So that's really the main thing. As you can see right here, this is kind of the numbers from the past 10 years for pedestrians and bicyclists around our region. So we want 0 fatalities for everyone. So that's what we're pushing for. So we're really going to be addressing connections, gaps, and system deficiencies, which when we're out rating, we've already seen a lot of that so far, where you'll be on a bike path and it just stops in a parking lot. And there's no lines painted or anything, so we're going to consider stuff like that a gap or a misconnection. Also, we are going to all the signalized intersections in our planning area to do a crossing audit for pedestrians. So we're looking at striping, we're looking at stop bars, push buttons if they're accessible. Sometimes when we're out rating the pass, you have to go off 10 feet into the grass to push the button, then come back and cross the street. So, and we do have a drone, so we're going to be using that to catch some good imagery. And also we're working with MACC Transit with their new bus stops to address connectivity with non-motorized infrastructure. And we do plan on updating the plan every 5 years. So we're working hard on it right now. That takes up probably 75% of my time right now. So it's exciting though. It'll be good. Any questions?
When you say signalized intersections, is that like every intersection that has a signal, or are we just talking about the ones that have the buttons that you push?
Only signalized intersections that have either a sidewalk or a side path on the corner. So all yours will probably be audited, yes.
Yeah, the amount of data that is being gathered is amazing. So I got to give this team credit for going over and above, and I love it because they want this to be the best non-motorized plan that's ever been done, and they talk about it in the office. That some of the stuff that we're doing is probably the first time in the state, maybe potentially in the country. We'll see. But it's a big deal. We're going to have really good data, really good information that's going to be usable, and we're just hoping that it's exactly what our members and the public is looking for when when we want to, it's going to help us prioritize. That's, to me, it's going to be huge, because now we're going to know where should we be investing, where should we be going after grant money, and we're going to have the data to say this is where we should go first, second, third, fourth. So
That's great.
And we really want to be a clearinghouse for information for you guys, for the members, and just say, hey, where are all the intersections in my community, or, you know, things like that. So, yes, Tom.
You're doing a major lift here by gathering data
Yes.
and analyzing it. Is there an educational component that will come out of this that will be helpful in educating drivers and the bicyclists concerning the rules of the road? For example, if there's a four-way stop sign and there are non-motorized paths there, are bicyclists on that path required to stop at that intersection? In most cases, they don't. And I have to assume it's lack of familiarity with the rules of the road.
Yeah. And we hope improved signage will come out of this too for the non-motorized paths, just to educate people. And actually, a lot of that safety and education piece will come out of the safety action plan as well, that AECom delivers to us. So.
I think it's more of an impatience thing, Tom.
Yeah. But same goes with drivers. There's drivers that blow through stop signs and lights, and yeah. So,
yeah,
yes.
we're meeting with MDOT later this week.
Thursday.
And I think that's going to be very helpful, because that's going to be with their non-motorized coordinator, statewide coordinator that's been doing this for 15, 20 years and is recognized nationally. So he said he'll help us with data, and then certainly, you know, we're not opposed to be on the cutting edge. So if there's anything he can do to help us to be on the cutting edge, he said he'll help us. So I'm looking forward to that.
So Eric, I'd just like to add as well, I think that the MACC region has always been a shining star in terms of non-motorized, the investment that the local units of government have made. And you have a great relationship with MDOT, as well as the League of Michigan Bicyclists are a great resource. So, yeah, how cool. And it's thrilling for me to see, because I was a former staff member here at the MACC working on the non-motorized plan.
Yeah.
So to see what you're doing, I think sounds super great, and very, you know, it's exciting to see it move to that next step. Yeah.
And we will be meeting with every member individually as well, just to discuss what do you have right now, what are you looking to have, what do you plan 20 years from now. I think we've really realized the local municipalities have a lot of power in what they want their community to look like. So, and you have to plan decades ahead, of course, to see it come to fruition.
Were you guys riding your electric bikes, checking out the bike
It's
paths
coming
a
up
couple
next.
weeks?
Yeah, I got a slide coming up next.
I thought I saw you out there.
Yes, so the non-motorized discussion still, so we still are looking for some estimates on recent path construction or repaving, patching, to come up with some good averages. So if anyone has that information, please send it our way. You can ignore the third bullet point and the second, because we already talked about that. We've rated almost everything we can from the MACC. I think we have a couple more runs we can go do, but then we're going to have to go to Port Sheldon and store the bikes there. Mike has graciously agreed to let us store them there, and then the City of Zeeland, Kevin. Yeah. What's that?
Keep them locked.
Yes, keep them locked. Yeah, because some things are so far from our office, it would take 15 miles to go out to the end and then come back. And
Just don't store them on Alex front porch.
right, yeah, don't store them there.
When I go back to speak, I was going to let him have it. So.
And I will say, just anecdotally, you learn a lot of information by actually going out on the paths that you would not learn in a car driving around. So we've had very close calls with getting hit. Usually it's coming out of driveways or parking lots. Just people don't pay attention. And I've seen my life flash before my eyes a couple times. We do plan on rating the whole network every other year. So that's about 200 miles. That's the main reason we got the e-bikes, is to maintain. And hopefully over time you can see deterioration of paths and see how long they last. So, yeah. Okay, so right now we have rated 104 miles. It's probably actually 120. We rated recently too. So you can see some photos on the right. These are some things we've run across. Obviously, a lot of erosion. We have some water retention. So these are just some of some crazy things we've seen so far. So pretty much I would say 3/4 of the paths are 8 feet or wider. And that's really the standard for AASHTO. So that's the bare minimum is 8 foot wide. They prefer 10 or more. But this is just kind of the breakdown of that. We've been almost all of Holland Township, Park Township. We're into Lake Town a little bit now, City of Holland. And then we're going to do Port Sheldon and all the Zeeland Township stuff from those locations. And this is kind of what it's looking like so far. It's not a surprise. Most things are average. Almost 3/4 are average condition. But we do have, I think our favorite path has been Greenlee Street between 112th and 120th. It's a brand new path so
That's
far.
the best.
It's a nice one. It's very flat and wide. And, yeah.
That one's amazing.
That one's good. So generally, the paths are in very good condition, I would say. Like they ride nice. We've only seen a couple really bad ones. So that's where we're at right now. I think we have 210 miles to do total. So we're at 120 right now. Yep. It's not fun when you run out of battery either, because those bikes are like 80 pounds. So and it's hot out, but. Yeah. So any questions on this? Luke?
About how many miles are you able to do a day?
So we have to backtrack, of course, sometimes, but generally we're riding 20 to 30 miles per time. Yeah, and we make the most out of it. So, and
30 miles is when Eric has to bike back with no battery.
Yeah.
I'm
Push it to the limit.
I'm always the one that's like, hey, I think we're getting a little close. We should head
I'll
back.
be all right. Then I eat crow after that, pretty much. Yeah. So, but yeah, at the end of this, obviously we'll send a report to every municipality that has pathways and just noting the condition and a couple maps and things like that. Yeah. That's about it.
Very nice. Any other questions? No? Then we'll jump
All right.
into the tip amendments. And we did skip green commute updates, real quick.
Yeah, that's because Cole, our intern, who's going to give an update, but he's not here, so he didn't really let me know much. But it's going well. He's been working with a lot of people to get sponsorships. He's gotten money from Meyer. He's gotten tickets to the Frederick Meyer Gardens, John Ball Zoo. Russ's gave him a donation, so he's doing really, really good.
And all those will be part of the prizes that we're going to be giving out for our Green Commute Week, because we normally do have that incentive. And we thought, well, let's bring more of our partners in, and maybe we can actually get some donations, which worked really well. And then you guys have been out. You did the slow roll.
The Velo City slow roll. That one was nice. You guys did the MACC Water Festival.
Did the water festival.
Trying to do a couple Cullen Park concerts, stuff like that. Just get the word out. So
Can you remind us what week that is?
that is September 8th through 15th, I think.
So it's not the Labor Day week, the one after, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, we still felt like having it during school was important. I mean, it seems like it'd be nice to have it in the summer, but I really think let's do it during the school year. And the first week of September probably isn't good, so we were like, all right, we'll do the beginning of the second week. So that's what we're trying to hit.
I feel like I have to start with my my update that I had now that Mayor Box is here. my gracious welcome to the neighborhood was I got my bike stolen.
I'm so sorry.
Was it you?
I'll bring it back.
I was saying, was
It just looked like too much fun.
it you? Yeah. And I said, I'm just saying, it never happened when I lived in Port Sheldon. So.
Make sure you lock it up. It's the new one.
Yeah. All right, so we have 4 jobs on here. First, they're all pretty straightforward. I think, Elisa, I might need a little. we had a little back and forth with Kate on some stuff. The first one, 215164, this is an Ottawa County job. This one's being abandoned because it's in the federal buyout program. Then the next three, this is what was discussed at TAC, and what I'm bringing to you here is 221312. This is a new MACC job. It's using remaining and reallocated rollover funds. 313, new MACC job using remaining and reallocated rollover funds. And then 325, this is a new MACC job using mobility management funds. They receive through MDOT each year. These funds were not in the original 23-26 tip. I just know I had some emailing with Kate talking about like potentially abandoning some of these jobs, and I wasn't totally sure on the updates on those. So if you have anything to...
I'll just share, and I think maybe you can jump in as well. As far as I'm aware, MACC has not had an incident like this. Typically, we will fully expend our funds. So the fact that there were unallocated funds is unusual. So I've never really addressed that before. We did, I know for mobility management, we hired a new staff member. Her name is Sandra Korhorn, and she's actually become the project manager for our regional transit study, and she's jumped right in. So she is fully expending the mobility management grant. She's also a wonderful resource for each unit of government, and she's doing travel training, and her role is to be in the community. So we will fully expend that last line item without any problem. But it's the other two that I thought I would just, I don't know, Luke, if you have anything more to
I don't necessarily, I think there was just, we weren't 100% sure if those needed to be added into the tip or not. So if we end up needing to take those back out of the tip, if they're not required to be in there, we'll just abandon those in a future month. Otherwise, they'll be good to go as is.
We're grateful just to have the opportunity to spend those funds if they are indeed, if they can be spent this fiscal year. So, thanks.
There's no comments or questions. Ask for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 to 2026 tip amendments as presented.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and a support. All in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to jump into, are we doing comments? I think we're doing administrative first. So let's see, real quick, we'll start with financial report. Things are looking good. We're right on schedule. It's kind of crazy to think we just have August and September left of this fiscal year. It goes by fast, but we're hitting all of our numbers. If anybody has any questions, always feel free to reach out. But we're doing good. Chris and I had a nice conversation before he left on vacation. We're looking forward to some of the grant stuff coming in, so there'll be a new little wrinkle coming here pretty soon. And I'd say look for an amendment to make sure we have the grant information in our financials, whether that's next month or September, but before the end of the year, we'll be bringing that to you. I'll probably give a heads up to the exec committee next month. The exec committee report, I don't know if that memo is attached. I just looked, I didn't see it on mine, but we've covered a few of the items already today that were discussed with the exec committee. The one thing I do want to let you guys know is last week, the active transportation investment, infrastructure investment program, that grant for the I-196 business loop pedestrian bridges, that grant went in last Monday, so we got it in a couple days early. Really happy to have that off of our plate and into the system. So that was for the finish up the planning and to design that project, not for construction. So that's a $1.6 million grant that that's total cost. The good news, and I shared the actual letter with exec committee, we have the full match support from the state of Michigan. So Michigan Infrastructure Office sent me a letter saying the $320,000 match they will cover for us. So that's pretty exciting. So on the heels of that, what I did this morning real quick, this is hot off the press, they had a very short window, I think it's 10 days or less. That's the Michigan Infrastructure Office, that if we at the MACC would like support for any grant opportunity that's out there, we can request their help. And if you recall, we did the Reconnecting Communities grant last fall. That was construction money for the same project, the I-196 Business Loop project, and we were not awarded that funding. But now they had a new NOFO that came out, and they're including design and planning in Reconnecting Communities. So I called Michigan Infrastructure Office this morning and said, would you support, would that $320,000 be able to be used for the same grant that we just put in for the ATIP, can we put in for the RCP? And she believes that that will work just fine, but she's going to confirm that later today. But in the meantime, she said, put in your grant request to her, which I did right before I left to walk in here today. So we're going to try to have 2 grants in for the exact same thing, trying to just, broaden our reach. And I do hope that Michigan Infrastructure Office will pay for that match. So that's the new twist that's happening right now. And then the last thing that was a discussion at the exec committee, which we're going to present right now, I'm going to jump right to that, is the Outdoor Discovery Center MOU that the MACC has. Let's see, should we jump up there and do it, or should we do it from sitting here? Do you guys want me to present standing up, or do you want me to present from where I am? Kelly, what do you prefer? I'll go up there. I don't want you to stand by yourself. So let's go up there. I think that makes more sense. That's great. So let's start with the MOU with ODC. So as I say, many of you know that there are a lot of new faces in here. So a lot of you might not be aware that we have the 3-year memorandum of understanding to support the MACC's watershed initiatives. That was an MOU with ODC. So we were handing that off and then managing that from a distance, but still working very closely together. So the current agreement is September 30, 2021 to September 30, 2024. And Kelly was the program manager for the environmental side of things with the MACC. Her position went to ODC, and that's supported still by the MACC. So it's $113,500 annually. One of the main deliverables in that MOU is supporting the Lake MACC TMDL, and that's a voluntary agreement. And one of the things that was very unique, and I was surprised to learn this a few years ago right when I started, that's a 10-year agreement that the MACC has and all of our members have with Eagle. And that started in 2002, or 2000, was reconfirmed in 2010 by Steve Boltheist and the MACC. And then in 2021, Tyler Kent and the MACC supported a new 10-year agreement with Eagle to continue to work on the TMDLs for Lake MACC. So some of the other deliverables that ODC has been helping us with is the permit compliance assistance as far as MS4 goes, grant management, and then maintaining the watershed management plan, as well as a lot of public outreach activities. I was able to go to a couple schools with Kelly to do some outreach, which was a lot of fun. I'd like to do more of that, but it's difficult. But it's fun to talk to. It was a middle school and elementary school, I believe, in Zealand, which was fun. Like, they have good questions. But I get monthly reports from Kelly, and then I don't know if you recall, Kelly did an update, Project Clarity update in the last summer. Spring-ish.
Yeah.
So that's the current MOU that we have, and I'll let Kelly go into some more of the highlights of what was accomplished.
Yeah, so just real quickly, some of the accomplishments over the past 3 years. So I kind of tallied up the last 3 years under the MOU. So within the MS4 compliance program, so that's the municipal stormwater permits that the 2 cities, the 2 counties, and the 2 road commissions, those are the 6 entities or MACC members that I work with on those. We held 8 employee training sessions, 12 progress reports were submitted in that time period, 2 for each. 4 of them were due for permit reapplications, so we worked on that, and went through 1 audit, which was not a fun process, as they are wont to be. And then on the grant management side of things, over the past 3 years, we completed 8 grants. There were several that were in process when the MOU took effect in 21. So those were all wrapped up. And then we currently have 4 active. So those 8 that were completed, that was about $1.1 million of grant funding. That was in no small part, we were able to leverage because of the support that the MACC provides to ODC. Plus ODC also put additional funding behind those projects. And then we have 4 currently active projects that, again, both the MACC and ODC are putting match towards. And then public education, the numbers are way too many to tally up, but we do publish weekly articles in the Holland Sentinel as part of a contract that we have with the City of Holland. So on all things sustainability, not just the watershed. Social media, we have several social media channels that we are active on, posting information. We host the annual MACC Water Festival, which was just held recently, July 13 on Windmill Island. So that's an annual event that the MACC has always been a part of, and then ODC has typically in the past managed and continues to manage and organize that event. And then, depending on the year, 5 or 6 workshops that we hold for community members on various topics. And then we participate in community events. So like the guys mentioned, Cole has been at some community events. We were at some of those with him too. The Zealand Pig Out last week was a great event. So we had Green Commute and Project Clarity information there. And then I just have some highlights of some photos of some projects. These are all related to the grants. So within the City of Holland, we're able to secure some funding to do green stormwater infrastructure. So the top 2 pictures are rain gardens at Holland City Hall that look absolutely gorgeous right now. The flowers are in full bloom. Some weeds we got to take care of, but I think the interns will be out tomorrow to do that. And then the bottom pictures are some curb cut rain gardens. So these are in the city right of way. So again, a partnership with the city and also the homeowners. There are 11 of those in the city, which again are looking great. Flowers are blooming. Our interns, we have summer interns every year that check these rain gardens every other week and help the homeowners with maintenance. For the most part, the homeowners are maintaining their own curb cut gardens. And then some stream bank projects. These are both on Peters Creek. The top one is a property that ODC owns in Poppin Woods. The bottom one is a private site in Overijssel Township. So that was a fairly significant grant that we were able to do 2 of these stream bank projects. And then on the agricultural side of things, it's been a few years since we've had active agricultural grants. This last one wrapped up in December of 22, but put in the top photo, let's see, there we go, a grassed waterway that's in Zealand Township. And then these are just some examples of cover crops. I don't know exactly where those photos were taken, but that last grant that we had for agriculture really focused on cover crops and then this one grass waterway project. And then here's just kind of a sampling of some of the public education and outreach activities that we do. We host the river cleanups twice a year, spring and fall. This was actually a group of Girl Scouts that came out to help, and I was kind of shocked to see this little girl rolling this tire across the grass.
She doesn't need any help.
No, she did not need any help. And then this was last year at the Holland Farmers Market Kids Activities. We like to participate. That's a good community event. Rainscape training. We train volunteers to go out and do site assessments for homeowners. And then this was at the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Seminar that we hosted last year at the Pinnacle Center in Hudsonville. So those are just some highlights. And then I just wanted to wrap up with kind of what we're working on, what's coming next. So we are currently working on updating the watershed management plan. We have a grant that's one of the 4 active grants that we have that goes through next June, but we're hoping to have a draft of the management plan done by the end of the calendar year, and then we have to go through Eagle review and approval on that. We have a grant currently from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation to do a stream bank restoration project at Paw Paw Park. So that's in partnership with Ottawa County Parks. Fishbeck has been hired to do the design. We've had a pre-application meeting with Eagle, so things are moving on that project. Things go smoothly, that construction will happen next summer. We are more recently been trying to focus more in the urban areas on community rainscaping. So that's things like putting in those rain gardens, having people install rain barrels, convert their lawns to turf grass to native plants. So pleased to announce we received a grant from the Zealand Board of Public Works Community Fund to do some promotion of that program within the Zealand BPW service area. We've been focusing really heavy in the Holland BPW service area, so now we'll be able to work more in the Zealand community. So super excited about that.
And I'll jump in real quick, just because we keep talking about all these grants, and I might have glossed over it real quick. Like, one of the other benefits of this MOU is that partnership in terms of grants, because there's grants that ODC can just go off and get by themselves, that's fine, and on our behalf work, that's great, but there's other times where you can't, and they actually need a governmental agency, quasi-governmental agency to go after those grants for them. So that MOU sets up that stage where we can work together and we can go after grants so they can actually get the work done. So.
Yeah, and a perfect example that I didn't put on here was the MACC applied for a MyCore grant, which supports volunteer stream cleanups. That's one that nonprofits are not eligible to apply for, only units of government. So we did get that grant to support a cleanup this fall, not only in the Macatawa River, but also in Pigeon River. So we're excited
You got your back, Mike.
Yeah. So we're excited to expand to the Pigeon River, and hopefully this will just be the first annual Pigeon River cleanup, and we'll continue to coordinate that. The last couple of things here, been working for over a year to secure money from Ottawa County through a settlement that was received from Monsanto to support water quality funding. So thanks to Gretchen and the commissioners for approving that funding. It was a labor of love getting through that process. But working with the Water Resource Commissioner's Office and the Ottawa Conservation District, we secured just under $1 million to support water quality monitoring across the county for the next 5 years. And with what we had put in there for the Macatawa watershed, just under half of that will be directed towards Lake Macatawa. We're planning to put a real-time water quality monitoring buoy in the lake, working on getting quotes for that currently. And this will be extremely comprehensive. We're not aware of any county that's done this much water quality monitoring in such a concentrated way. It'll cover everything from the standard chemistry to macroinvertebrates to fish to doing agricultural tillage surveys to road stream crossing inventory. So it will be very comprehensive and trying to fill the gaps in data, especially in watersheds that don't have as much. Like the Macatawa has an extremely robust set of data, but this funding will help cover the cost for that for the next 5 years. And then the last thing that I'll just kind of tease a little bit, it's a work in progress, but ODC has engaged the services of Fleece and Vandenbrink to explore the possibility of a phosphorus removal facility. So this would be something that would either be in stream or would take water, flood waters through a treatment system to remove phosphorus. So kind of a alum injection system that would, alum is a chemical that's commonly used to treat lakes to remove phosphorus. And so we're looking at the feasibility of trying to do something in the stream rather than in the lake to try to cut down phosphorus before it even reaches the lake. So we've had one round of conversations with some of the units of government that are represented on the MACC policy board. We have another meeting in a few weeks with some potential funders to help us get through this feasibility phase of the study. And so hopefully about a year from now, we'll have that study completed and know whether or not this type of a facility is something that we are going to move forward with.
Yep. So. No, that was really good. And I guess I want to say two things real quick. Well, I guess we can jump to the next one because this is kind of where we're going. It was a good discussion with the exec committee. kind of regarding what we're talking about here and how successful this 3-year current MOU has been and how we'd like to move forward with it. I think the additional discussions would be like some other cleanup events, maybe public outreach pieces, some other inventory pieces that we were talking about. But even the Pigeon River watershed and kind of what's happening with the plant shut down, and that is now cold water inland lake, and it's going to be more of a warm water inland lake. There's a lot of opportunities for us to continue this relationship and study those that kind of impact, and then what we can do from a regional perspective to make sure that this this affects all of us all together. And this is kind of something that the MACC really, that's kind of what we're here for as a coordinating council. That let's look at regional issues and work together to help solve it. And really quickly, I think you covered $2-3 million worth of effort, and that's for our 113,000 combined per year. So I think we're doing really good on return on investment with this relationship, and it does checks all the boxes that we're trying to check as a councilman. So is there anything I missed? Anybody from the exec committee that wants to jump in to make sure that I covered that conversation well enough? And then if any of you, yes.
Just exclamation mark on what you just said as far as the return on investment. And Kelly, I don't think we talked to you directly as a board, but thank you for all of your work. And I mean, honestly, it's exciting to see what you've already accomplished with the MACC and ODC together, and we just really appreciate the relationship.
Thank you for that. And then with regards to that next step, I think a few of you might have been at that meeting 2 Mondays ago. Terry, I'm thinking of you. Is there anything you want to, did we miss anything there? Do you want to bring anything up?
No, it's very complete. Thanks.
Okay, very good, very good. So, so a new MOU. This is what I'd like to jump in with, and I'm hoping to get the board's support to continue working with the exec committee as well as with ODC, so I can bring a new MOU back for full approval. If we switch to the next slide, I put in there by November. Obviously, this MOU expires in September, but that gives us plenty of time to, if we really need to hash out some particulars, we can. But I think the relationship is so great that the high-level MOU, kind of the way we have it, is a really good foundation. We shouldn't have to do too much more, but this is what I'm hoping as far as direction from the board is to continue this relationship and working together with the ODC and exec to hash out a new one. So with that said, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the executive director's collaboration with the Outdoor Discovery Center and the new MACC Executive Committee to draft a new memorandum of understanding to be approved by November. Support.
All right. Do you got support already? Okay. Any comments? Any questions before we ask for approval? Okay. With the motion and support, all in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. This is exciting.
Jason?
Yes.
A question for you.
Yeah.
If the existing MOU expires at the end of September, would you entertain a motion to authorize you to extend that temporarily until the end of November?
Yes. I missed out on telling you that I did send that request over to ODC last week. So they verbally said they don't think they have any problem with it. I don't know if we have to do anything other than maybe the response to the email that I sent. Might be good enough, but
Great.
Gives us some time to make sure that we do that. And then I think this approval, knowing that we're moving forward and working together, that this probably reconfirms it as well, certainly from our end. Very good. All right, member comments. Where do we want to start? Usually we start with a host.
That would be me. Welcome to Zeeland. We've got a lot of things going on in town. You probably, if you rode down Main Street, you saw the construction of putting in snow melt on our sidewalks. So I would think by the end of this week, we'll probably have the south side done on the main business district. Then we move on to the next block between Elm and State. So There will be a time when State Street will be closed for that project, so that will be kind of a pain, but we've gotten around all the closures in the area the last few weeks or the last few months. So, we've got some new buildings going up in town, right on Main Street. We've got a 3-story building. There'll be apartments on the top 2 floors and a dental office in the back, and more retail up front. So exciting to see. One of the taller buildings in Zeeland. We've got a couple new restaurants while public came back to Zeeland, and the Grits Maker is open now, and yeah, good to have a little selection. So the Slide building, it will be renting out. I'm sure they're started already. We're going to, the city council and planning commission are invited to come tomorrow to go through it. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's about it. We want you to keep Tim Clunder and our city manager in your prayers and thoughts. And he's going to be going to the University of Chicago soon he has had brain tumor for a year and a half now, I think it is. So they're going to do a kind of a different kind of treatment on him. So he'll be in the hospital for 2 weeks, and hopefully he comes out with no tumors. Thank you.
Tom, you want to go?
I've got
If I go this way, I'll forget you, so I want to make sure that you go right.
It wouldn't matter because I really don't have anything to say.
All right, that's good. Well, then I'll go to Terry.
Okay.
Now we can go.
Well, I don't have a lot. The building is going crazy, of course, and it's not only in our community, but like Park Township and various other communities. It's just crazy in residential development, both single family and apartments. I don't recall anything going this strong in the past years, but we'll all see where it all ends up. We just finished the rehab of our station, our fire station number 1. It was in great need of some upgrades and looks great, so we're very happy about that. But other than that, that's about it.
I have 4 things that I wanted to report. First of all, there is no MACC Transit Authority Board meeting this afternoon, so just wanted to let a few of you know. We've got the afternoon off. That was posted, and you will be getting an email. So that is the first thing I wanted to share, but I also wanted to let you all know that May 20th, the Authority Board approved the transit study that's been underway. And as you all know, you've all been involved in giving input for that. So we intend the beginning of 2025 to start working on bus stop relocations, and hopefully by June of next summer we'll have the reconfiguration of the routes, which will basically, as you know, it'll mean that we will provide service every 30 minutes on most of the routes rather than having passengers wait an hour. And that's using our existing budget. So we're pretty excited about that element. And a lot of what we've been doing is trying to improve and innovate and just become more efficient. So that has meant a lot of new software transitions. We had our financial software transition with the City of Holland, which we're in the midst of. And then VIA is our new scheduling software that will be launching in August. And then last Friday, you might have noticed in the news that there were major flight delays due to a cybersecurity issue that impacted MACC as well. We were informed by our early morning dispatcher that they could not communicate with the tablets on the buses. So the drivers were having to print out paper manifests. But our team is great at problem solving. And I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce to you one of our new major problem solvers. Week 2 in the position, Rob Gansa is our new ITS coordinator. And this is actually, today is Third week. Yeah, so he jumped right in. He's been helping us troubleshoot, and we're super excited to have him in that role because, got your hands full.
So far.
Yeah, but he's a joy to work with, and we're just really excited about his help.
That's great.
In terms of making those improvements.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Thank you. All right.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, not too much. Yeah, like I say, I'm finishing Ken's term. Yeah, we all miss him. I'm sure all of you, there's a lot of
Yeah.
folks that know him, but I guess the main thing right now is happening is broadband internet that's going all through the township now. The 1, 2, 3 nets making a real good progress. I think it's really, I mean, you see them now one road putting down cable, everything, flags are pulled, they're all done. They're just hitting it off real fast. So a lot of people are real excited about that. So that's our big thing right now. That's pretty much all I got. So,
Okay. Thank you.
so.
I have nothing.
Always a lot going on in the city of Holland. Sad news, we lost a giant in the community a couple of weeks ago, a gentleman by the name of Frank Cry. Many of you may have known him. One of the things I'd like to say is just about everybody I know has a Frank story. Frank was a West Ottawa school teacher, Hope College professor, Tulip Time tour guide, had a public access TV show promoting the city of Holland. He was the announcer for Tulip Time parades. Frank was everywhere, and he was the catalyst. He provided, remember, retired school teacher, over a $1 million gift to the city of Holland. That was the inspiration for the Holland Ice Park, which is currently under construction and scheduled to open probably next spring, and right on track. If you head out to 6th Street, stand up by the Dutch couple bronze sculptures, you get to see a great view. We're starting to put foundations in, but we lost him a couple of weeks ago. His celebration of life is on August 1st at the Civic Center from 4 to 7. City was very proud to provide that location for his celebration of life. Holland City Fiber is going great guns as well, hooking up more people every day, right on track with that big project to provide the opportunity for high-speed fiber broadband to every resident in the city of Holland. 2 gigs up and down for $45 a month, which Mayor's very proud to say is twice the speed and half the cost that we promoted it when we passed the millage for it a couple of years ago. Also, LG Energy, big step for their phase 3. City Council just approved the rezoning of 3 residential parcels to industrial. All 3 of those coming from Fillmore Township from 2 different 425 plans. So that opens that up to continue that construction. When Thursday will be the 20th anniversary of our Street Performers series, so feel free to come downtown Holland. Also watch City of Holland social media if you want to see a video of the mayor not learning how to juggle. You may get a great joke out of that. They did a great thing where they took a whole bunch of different city leaders and tried to get us to do some of the type of performances that you'll see on the street. My understanding is just about everybody was more successful than I was in the different things that they were doing. Also, Wednesdays and Saturdays are Holland Farmers Market. And then one thing that you may or may not know what's going on, but if you go downtown Holland this week and last week, you may see a lot of young people walking around in what looks like dance attire. The International, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the International Shiketti Dance competition is taking place in the city of Holland this coming week. They had the national one a couple of years ago. They now have the international. I've seen kids with sweatshirts on from countries all over the world that are here. They're teaching not only the kids, but they're also teaching the teachers there. So if you see that, and there's some great performances that are going to be taking place over the course of this week. So that's what's going on in Holland, Michigan at the moment.
Okay. Well, Port Sheldon, still busy. Lots of things going on as well. We're well into our master planning process and started to get some of the survey results back from the public engagement side, which is pretty exciting to see. And multi-use paths were brought up quite a few times, so I think we'll be reaching out for more information that way. But yeah, so that's well underway, and our summer parks are proving to be super busy and challenging for parking and enforcement and all that, but we're managing. So yeah, so some good stuff in the works. summer's just cooking by, so.
All right, good.
When we had our budget hearing in February, we declared this the year of the parks. So we're finishing up several projects within the community park. The pickleball courts are open and very popular. And we're also right toward the end of completing our master plan. The board has been approving chapters at a time, not approving, but reviewing chapters at a time. And public hearings are taking place now. So we should have our new master plan done and approved before the board changes over in November.
Lakeshore Advantage, so things that are happening, I mean, honestly, listening to this conversation, I can't help but think like 5 years ago, we identified like the keys to long-term economic success. Access to broadband, access to housing, some of these items that we're seeing, placemaking initiative, parks, these are the things that really make the Lakeshore so attractive. It's incredible to hear like the reality. We're digging, we're putting fiber in, housing projects, Park Township, all over. So, I mean, just so exciting. And we're seeing that on the business development side as well. We still have, which is for this time of year, really, really strong, 12 projects in our pipeline. So again, either existing or out companies from outside the area looking to invest here on the lakeshore, representing around 800 million investments. So those are still possible to come online this year. And again, seeing, wide range of business investment in different industries, which is exciting. So one item I did want to flag for this group, I don't know if I've actually mentioned it before, so apologies if this is redundant at all. We are partnering with the Frost Research Center to put out an emerging worker survey. So we will be surveying young people from the ages of 20 to 34 about what they like about the lakeshore, what they don't like about the lakeshore, what keeps them here, what would bring them back. So if you have family members, friends who have left the lakeshore and are in that age group and work in a high demand career, and we'll have that defined in the survey, we want to hear from them. So again, there's a lot of research out there about what this age group wants. What we want to know is what their perception and experience is here so that we can lean into opportunities to meet those needs and desires. So we will be launching that hopefully first week or two of August, and we'll send it out really broadly. So we're going to need everybody's help in getting that into that age group's hands, and there'll be a mini incentive to fill it out. Like we'll draw 5 winners who win $100 gift cards. So if you got college students need money, tell them take the survey. It won't take them too long. So that's coming up.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really kind of exciting to sit here and listen and realize that we've been involved in a lot of the different projects too. So yes, it is budget month coming in August here. And so I'm working with County Administrator Anderson and then also our finance department to structure some work sessions. We're kind of talking between 2 to 4. We did every Tuesday last fiscal year 2024, but it might be 2. So what I want to do as Chair of Finance is review kind of current state and also where we are in the projects that we did actually approve in fiscal year 2024. And then look for a summary of kind of where we're at right now as a county. So I'm reaching out to partners in the community to see kind of what your focuses are as well, and so how we can drive those county resources in the right direction. So yeah, I want to collaborate with our community partners. So fiscal year 2024, we had one of the lowest increases, even though it's out there, increases in our budget by 3.59%. Some of the things that we were able to provide to the county actually are body cameras. The juvenile justice building was completed. We do have a 5-year plan for ADA access for all of our county buildings. There are 14, I think 15 total. But I am also requesting, I've requested last year, a building usage plan too, to make sure we're using all of our square feet. Are we using it? Do we need more? Are we using it efficiently? Broadband was approved also, so that was part of the investment. And we're really looking at things like housing, collaborating with Jubilee and Lakeshore Habitat for Humanity. I can't fund your projects, your house, but maybe I can help you fund operations. We can, right, as a county. And then energy, and I know Paul Sachs he's been invited next month to talk about kind of like a master plan idea regarding energy and water and our housing needs and how we do that as a focus. Like municipalities, of course, maintain their control, but are there ways that, we live on the 4th largest freshwater body in the world and yet we struggle with water? Are there some ways that we can look at the aquifers for agriculture, our 2nd largest industry, and do that? It's like where the aquifers are for agriculture, but leaning on ODC wherever ODC is. Yes, to find out how we do this well. I mean, we've got so many resources available to us in the county, and I think that some great partnerships and people who are properly motivated. So, and then we hope to. I point at Tom. Our Executive Transition Committee, other hat that I wear is board chair for CMH, and we have an interim director that we voted as an Executive Transition Committee to move forward as our Executive Director for CMH, Dr. Michael Brashears. He's just been a real gift. He's come back. I think Tom and Rita were involved in recruiting him when he once worked here, but he's doing tremendous things for community mental health, and I think he'll be very, very satisfied with the outcomes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing to add, Doc?
Lake Town's got a couple things on the agenda right now. Our manager announced his retirement effective in January after 35 years. It's going to be huge shoes to fill. So we're in the process of, we've got an RFP out in the ether for an executive recruiter because we're going to look far and wide, make sure we get the best talent to follow up what Al has given us as far as an incredible foundation. When he started, our township hall had a wood stove and an outhouse. And 35 years later, we've got good infrastructure, good parks. Our auditors came in, gave us a sparkling audit. In fact, we did a budget adjustment because we came in $200,000 in reserves higher than anticipated. So I can't give him enough credit for his guidance over 3.5 decades. He's going to be terribly hard to follow, but we're going to do what we can to make sure we get some good talent, in to talk to, so that hopefully we can have a new manager in place when he pulls up stakes and heads for the islands on January 3rd. Other than that, sorry, Mayor, but we also have a couple things on Thursday nights. We've got a couple more concerts at the Felt, 2 more left this Thursday and next. So they're free concerts. There's food and beverage available. Come on out and enjoy the evening in the dunes.
If any of you are familiar or been through that area down around Saugatuck, we had a project at Blue Star Highway and Old Allegan Road. We were putting in a roundabout. That was finished about 2 weeks ago. We're about 6 weeks ahead of schedule on that one.
Nice.
That's completed now. Countywide, I'd say about 70% of our paving program is complete. Chip seal program countywide is complete. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this at our last meeting, but the County Board of Commissioners appointed Harold Hamlin to fill in the position that was vacated when John Kleinix passed away. He's from Casco Township.
Thank you. All right, well, I think that just about does it. We went just a couple minutes over, but I think it was worth it. This was really good discussion, so thanks for sharing, everybody. So next meeting, August 26th, Fillmore Township. Looking forward to that. So now just looking for a motion to adjourn. All right, support, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you.